Hello, good afternoon to you. War of the Ring board game. I've been reading the rules through, and I do have the expansions for it as well, which makes it, which gives it even more depth. And now it's not an easy game to play. It's not difficult either, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things you need to remember. The tarot-sized cards that come into play in the game, and there's 200 of them, counting both expansions. I know because I sleeved them up yesterday, and there is a hell of a lot of information and stuff you need to try and remember on them cards. Not necessarily memorise it, but you've got to know what may or may not come out during the game. Some really powerful things, some nasty things for the shadow. Now, this game is actually set, and we start off, basically the hobbits have reached Rivendell, and if you remember that they travelled from the Shire, and they eventually reached Rivendell, where Frodo had to recover because he'd been wounded in a fight with the Black Riders. But on that river there, the Black Riders were swept away. Was it Lady Galadriel, I believe she summoned up the waters, and they swept away the Black Riders. And that's fine, because then we can play the game, and just a little bit, and of course they'll make the way with the bearing the ring in the game, playing the cards, rolling the dice, eventually hoping to climb Mount Doom and depositing the ring into the crack of dawn to destroy it and win the game. And that's great. But I was thinking about, before that, and those of you who watch my channel know I'm a bloody tinkerer. I'm never satisfied. I always have to try and find other things to do with the games. Bearing in mind I haven't even played this game once yet, and I'm already looking at trying to change things. But I'm thinking about the Shire and the journey, which this board game doesn't cover. I know there are board games out there which do cover the journey from the Shire to Rivendell and more. But this map is such a lovely thing. It seems a shame not to use that bit as well. So, I mean, if you remember the story, we've got in the Shire at the beginning, we've got the Frodo and Sam. We've also got Merry and Pippin. And we've also got Gandalf, because Gandalf's there. Because celebrating Bilbo's birthday. And so they're all gathered. And it's at that time that Gandalf discovers that the One Ring, lost for so long, is actually in the possession of Bilbo Baggins. And then, as we know the story, Bilbo leaves it behind. He disappears. He obviously went to Rivendell, and the ring's left with Frodo. Now, Gandalf in the story, if I come out a little bit, Gandalf, he wants to get some advice, so he wants to see his old mentor, Saruman, who is in Orthanc, so he travels down to Orthanc, and there he discovers to his dismay that Saruman has succumbed to the shadow and has now become a minion of Sauron, and Gandalf ends up trapped at the very top of the tower in Orthanc with no obvious means of escape. In the meantime, we've got Black Riders. Now, this game doesn't come with Black Riders because, as we've already said, they were washed away in the river as they tried to enter Rivendell. But what we do have in the game, a Nazgul. who were sent out to hunt down the ring bearers. And we can all remember that scene where the one of the Black Riders arrives at the borders of the Shire and simply says, "Shire Baggins," and quickly directed by some scared hobbit in the direction of Bag End. Now, if in this game there should be a way to create the journey from the Shire, we could go through the Old Forest or Buckland, which would make more sense. Go through Buckland and to Bree, and then, of course, as we know in the story of Bree, in the inn is Strider. So the ring bearer and the two hobbit companions would have to go from Buckland into Bree, using the normal rules of the game where you roll dice and you'd use a character dice to move. The Shadow player with his Nazguls, who were substituting for Black Riders, would put eyes into the hunt for the ring box to see if they could find the ring. Now, once they get to Bree, and Strider joins the company, then Strider has the ability to hide the ring if it's discovered. But what if the ring's discovered in Buckland on the way there when Strider isn't there? Because if the ring bearers are discovered, they can't move. They've got to be hidden to move. Now, the only way you could do that is, could I use one of the tokens with a ring on it? They've just got one ring token. They could use that once if they were discovered, say, in Buckland. And after that, if they manage to get to Bree, well, that's fine, because then you've got Strider to help you. But each turn there would be more and more Dark Riders, or in this case Nazgul, and eventually they would wander across the Weather Hills into the Trollshaws, and finally they would enter, if they're successful, Rivendell. Once they're in Rivendell, obviously the game as normal would start. Now, you could continue the corruption, but if once they get to Rivendell, any corruption they'd gained, would be wiped away. Because presumably, like Frodo was recuperating in Rivendell for quite some time, so the corruption would disappear down to zero, and then you could set the board game up for the game as it's designed. But down here, of course, in Orthanc, we've got Gandalf. Now, we know that eventually he was able to escape from the top of the tower by riding on the back of one of the Great Eagles. Now, presumably, the Great Eagle carried him to Rivendell, because when we next see Gandalf, he was in Rivendell as Frodo awoke from his fever after his wounds had been treated. So that's what I've been thinking about, is recreating that journey. And can they do it? Maybe you wouldn't be able to have, full 12 points of corruption. Maybe we have to lower it down, maybe to, 4 or 5. We'd have to play test it and find out what would make a good number. And if we don't use a ring token, if before the meet up with Strider, maybe in Buckland, if they're discovered, well, maybe one of the party has to lay down their life to Merry or Pippin has to be sacrificed. So when the actual full game starts, you wouldn't have maybe one of them hobbits, maybe both, if for some reason. So it's early thoughts yet, but I'm a tinkerer, and I just like the complete story, and the journey from the Shire with the Black Riders, I thought was one of the best parts of the book, to be honest. I thought it was it was foreboding with the Black Riders. It was menacing. They were on their own. They had nobody to help them until they got to Brie, and they were basically just wandering around somewhere they'd never been, in a place they were totally unsuited for. So, and it's something I think is worth trying to incorporate into this game. I mean, we've got the Shire and all the places on the map already. We've got all the figures apart from Black Riders. I can substitute them with Nazgul. And then once you've done that part of the journey, you can play the full game. He says, having never played the full game yet, and yeah, I'm trying to change it. But that's my ideas. I just thought I'd share them while I was thinking on it. I was thinking on it over the last few days and thought, how could I do that? And I think I've come up with a little bit of a system, so I might give that a try. But of course, everything's got to be finished painting yet, because I've primed everything, so it's not in the normal light blue and red and grey colours that you used to see, because everything's been primed. And if you check my blog, you'll see that I've already painted the Men of the North and Rohan. I'm about to start painting the troops of Gondor. So anyway, thanks for that. Just my blathering and thoughts about adding to the game. May come to nothing, but certainly give it a try. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Bye for now.